Mhm.
Welcome back to The Reason Solution. I am your host, Marc Reason. Today I bring you a thinker. Kidane was one of my students. Brilliant from day one. Came from an extraordinary family that gave him a foundation most people never get. And then something else kicked in. The rap, the drums, the leadership, the creativity, the deep, uncomfortable, necessary questions. Because he always had a question. When his face got twisted, he started thinking, Kidane has a question for you. The most people are afraid to ask out loud. Not Kidane. But before all that, before the philosophy and the music and the big ideas, there was a young kid at my Sharon Night summer camp who needed a nickname. And there was a player named Rasul. You remember Rasul? Who carried the name Clutch all those years. Rasul earned that name. But then Kidane started making shots, game-winning shots. The kind of shots that changed the energy in the court. And slowly, one bucket at a time, Kidane took the name from Rasul and made it his own name. Clutch on Instagram is Mr. Perspective. How did you get the confidence to take those game-winning shots? Because there was a lot of pressure on you. And then people expected you to make those shots after you started taking them. What went through your mind developing into a sport where you really didn't play a lot, but then you became really good at it? Talk to us about Mr. Clutch.
Well, first, I would say the big part is that there was passion, Like, I always had this, when I did, start playing basketball, there was just this immediate connection where it was fun. It was fun. It kind of felt like when people have a happy place and they need to escape or something, or it's just, where they feel like the most fulfilled, basketball was one of those places. So I just started doing it all the time. I'd be behind my house in the summertime, 95-degree weather, and I'm out there and I'm playing until I'm ready to pass out, until I can't anymore. And then even at our school, Harambe, as you know, but the audience may not, both of my parents they were teachers there, they worked there. So after school, if there was a meeting or something, I would stay behind and just be right up there during the meeting, basketball, we had the full court, so I'm here, shoot, run this way, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot, run, shoot. I'm giving myself drills. And it never came from the place of, I need to be better. I need to be D1 or anything. I never had any of those goals. It was just the sake of, I enjoy it and how do I do this better now? Just for the sake of the fun. So naturally with me playing it more and more and more, the shots started dropping. And then even in terms of the confidence, it was just fun. It wasn't of an expectation of, all right, I need to do this or everyone's going to be upset with me. It was just from the feeling of, I'm enjoying myself. I want to have fun. Yeah, sure, let's do it. I've done it before. Let's do it. And that's what made it, I feel easier. I feel that's why those shots came and why they landed, was because the pressure wasn't there. It was just fun.
Young athletes out here, especially the athletes that are out here working, remember, it's still a game. It's just about fun. I need my audience to hear your perspective on the education system that shaped you.
What I will say, first of all, is Harambe, like you said, I was blessed to have certain experiences growing up that a lot of people didn't have. So I'll always be grateful and always keep that in my perspective. But with Harambe, it was not just African-centered of learning, a little bit more about my power and who we come from, not just slaves, but kings and queens, the actual wealth of who we are. But we also had, yes, Ashe. But we also had the space for the arts, for expression, for creativity. I feel creativity is such a big thing and a huge thing. So I'm blessed that Harambe had that. And what I see is, in general, when it comes to the education system, there's not enough of that creativity, not enough of that free expression, and not enough questions. I love, asking questions, and a big, the most important question I feel is why. But when it comes to education system in general, a lot of it is what? As of, how do you answer this question? What's the answer? There's only one answer to this question. This plus this equals this. And it becomes a memorization game. Or when we do formulas for a certain thing, you have this product, so you need this formula in order to solve this product, in order to solve this problem. So a lot of it becomes mechanical. And then even when it comes to the grading system, And then even when it comes to the grading system, there's only one grading system and everyone is bunched into this one group, although it's a bunch of different people, different minds, different learning styles, but everyone is pushing to learn the same way and be graded the same way and have the same expectations. And it's like molding, you know? Everyone has to be fit into this box. and that's how you determine whether you're successful or whether you're not successful, whether you pass or whether you fail. But we're not like that. I feel like that freedom, that question of why is more important than what.
Basically what you're saying is there should be a different rubric on every assessment to make sure it touches every learning style. You said that too often people are waiting for somebody else to tell them how to think and tell them what they should think. And instead of understanding that, life depends on you. In a world where everyone is telling people to vote, to organize, to protest, that is a bold position. Please unpack that for me.
So with this one, as I've been studying and looking into just asking these questions and trying to understand why things work the way they work, I realized that this one it takes a while to be able to see it from this perspective because we're in it. It's almost like you have to zoom out a little bit in order to be able to see it, because once you're in it, you can't really see the system from inside. But in terms of politics and power, I realized that so much of our power is getting expended outwards onto things. In politics, we're saying, all right, so we have to choose between the worst of two evils a lot of the time. But why choose evil at all? It just doesn't really seem like a valid thing. And even in terms of when we look at the system, which is something that we'll be getting into a little bit later on, but when it comes to the system, I feel like the reason why the system continues is because we participate. And the reason we participate is because everyone else is participating. And that's what we know, that's what we've been taught, that's what we're used to. So we're just kind of stuck in this perpetual system of this is just what it is, so let's just make the best of what it is. So I feel like when it comes to politics, the politics are simply just the gears for the system, or part of those gears for the system. That kind of what keeps it rolling. And then some people may have genuine, amazing intentions of what they want to do when they get there. Okay. And then they get there, and like you said earlier, they realize that they can't tell too much truth because they're not fitting a position or fitting a role. And then even if they still try to do that, there's other people that they have to go through. And these other people, whatever it is, their ideas or beliefs that they were trying to push out, ends up getting watered down, kind of like telephone. And then what finally shows up is something completely different. So just in terms of power, putting it into someone else's hands automatically kind of defeats the purpose of power. It's your power. Why does someone else need to do it for you and they won't be able to do it for you?
You believe some people's lives never change for specific reasons, and you believe most people take their minds completely for granted.
Okay. So as I've been trying to understand the way things work, I stumbled upon they're called universal laws. And for some people, and you kind of see it show up in different spiritual texts and religious texts, and people will look at it from different angles, but what I feel is the most true to my understanding is actually Hermetic laws, which come from ancient Kemet. What you understand is generally when you're looking at the world, it's obviously a lot more than just what we see, and you can break it up in terms of planes. So you have the spiritual plane, which is the highest, the one that's the most highest vibration. And that's the state of everything, oneness, totality, everything is connected, everything is energy. And then below that, you would have the mental plane. And the mental plane is your thoughts, your emotions, your frequency. And then below that, you have the physical world, which is the most dense, the slowest form of vibration once it starts to turn into something, physical that's being seen in front of you. So a part of this system and a part of our power that I feel like we're giving away so much is our attention. Our attention is our biggest source of power, and we don't realize that because we put all of our attention externally instead of focusing on ourselves. Because as we're working and maneuvering with the physical world, we start to believe that that's all there is. It's just the physical world. And then we start to believe that the physical world, life is doing things to you. Instead of life coming from you, instead of you being a co-creator in it, we see ourselves as a victim, as just life happening to us. But one of the Hermetic laws is the law of correspondence. And the correspondence says that what happens on one plane trickles down to the other. So like a river, you have spiritual mental, and then physical. Everything that happens on the physical plane came from something mental, came from an emotion, it came from a thought, something mentally. So everything starts from, mental, it starts from an emotion, same thing like the podcast. Everything started from the thought of first, all right, I'm going to do this thing, and then the energy transfers into physical form. So in terms of your power and attention, in the universe, everything is infinite. There's an infinite amount of things out there, and all of it is just energy, and it just is. In terms of our experience, we determine things to be positive and these things to be negative in terms of how they make us feel, but it's just energy, and there's an infinite amount of it. So when it comes to our attention, once we put our attention on something and say, you know what, today is going to be a terrible day. You put your mind on negativity, it seems like it starts to formulate and it starts showing up in your life. And we've seen that. Like, let's say you wake up and you stub your toe and you're like, damn, you know what? Today sucks. It's about to be a terrible day. And then you're late for work. And then when you're late for work, exactly. Like literally, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy because you said that. And everything starts to seem formulating around that. And all you see, because that's what you're looking for, is you find it. And then the same way in terms of if I'm thinking positively and saying this is going to be a great day, I have so many blessings and you notice them, they're everywhere. So if there's an infinite of this and an infinite amount of that, it comes down to your attention and what you're focusing on and where you put your mind to. Now, in terms of today and the world that we're living in, when it comes to, politics and the system, when it comes to our attention, we have a collection of beliefs and conviction. And most of it, 9 times out of 10, came from somebody else. So when we're born, we're a clean slate. There's just this pure little tiny baby, so innocent, no bad thoughts, no nothing. But we grow up in an environment, and that environment is the thing that dictates what you believe and the type of life that you live. So the general consensus is that if you want good things, you have to work really hard. It takes a long time. You have to work really hard to get good things. That's what your mother experienced. That's what your friends experienced. That's what they've seen. So with you growing up in this environment, everyone is putting their own beliefs and convictions about their life onto you, and you accept that, and you're you're thinking, okay, this is what life is. Emotionally, you're thinking, okay, I have to be scared of this, I have to be nervous of this, I have to be anxious of this. And as all of this is sitting in your mind, you get more conviction about it, and your belief settles that this is what life is, then it physically presents itself, and you're living what you're emotionally and mentally feeling on the inside. Because the physical world is just a reflection of your inner world. And then it just reflects. It's just continuous. And you just pass it on to everyone else. So when it comes to the general consensus and everyone living in this reality, it's just because everyone is living the same reality as the person before that.
So now I have a question that you probably haven't been asked for a while. So prepare yourself.
Okay.
I want you to think. This is gonna make you think. That's what we're here for.
Let me sip some water.
There. Okay, drink some water. You might need some water for this. I'm throwing a little curveball, but I'm tying back into everything we just talked about. Is there a bar or a lyric or a beat or a drum or a sound or something that you would say in the form of, I guess, the arts that helps you formulate your philosophy on life, or that closely relates your philosophy on life?
Yes. I can't say one specific bar, but I can say a song.
No. Don't say one. No. Give me a couple. I'm ready.
Okay. So it's funny because as I've been working on my content and more ways for me to just express myself, I just recently started this new thing. I haven't posted any videos of it yet, but it's called Behind the Lyrics. And it's where I'm taking songs that I feel like are resonance of my ideas and, the beliefs and the study that I'm looking into. Like they're explaining and they have deeper truth. So it's almost like reading between the lines, between the lyrics of finding that inner truth in those songs. So one song, I love this song and I played it for a while. Then as I kept playing it, I was like, wait a minute. Treasure in the Hills by Leon Thomas. Beautiful.
Say that again.
Treasure in the Hills.
Treasure in the Hills by who?
Leon Thomas.
Oh, you got to send me that so you can put me these.
Okay, I got you.
Okay.
But it's a beautiful song, and basically he's saying I found treasure in the hills. And it seems like a basic love song as of, I finally found this thing, this person, and they're a treasure in the hills. They're worth more than diamonds and gold. I've been on the hunt and I finally found what I want, and what I want is you. And as I looked at it first from, firsthand, you just see a love song. But when I went a little bit deeper, I realized it's not about me and somebody else. It's about me and me. Like I'm that treasure that's on the hills. I'm
No, I
worth
got
more
you.
than
It's,
diamonds and gold. All of the
I got you.
external things that I say that I want, it's me.
I got you. It's self-reflective. Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
And I feel that.
Yeah, and I didn't really like when I finally like looked at it that way. I was like, oh, you know what? Yeah, that's me. Another one would be Thames, law of correspondence. I can't find it best physically. Yeah, you can see it as physically, mentally, we're hurting people because we're hurt. But another way, deeper way of looking at it is we're also hurting people in terms of our convictions and beliefs. We had a really hard life, so we grew up and said, life sucks. So then you raise your child and you say, it's a hard life out there. No one's gonna love you.
Originally, you said, right, people got to be
Mhm.
personally responsible for themselves.
Yeah.
So, with that being the case, what would you say to people who are like, man, they always try to beat us down. They always trying to hurt a brother and sister, and the system has beat us down so much, and they don't take personal responsibility? Because you said that people still have to take personal responsibility. What would you say to them
Mhm.
who feel like they've been beat down so much, they acquiesce and say, I don't have to have any personal responsibility because they keep on doing this to me?
If somebody outside of you already did something to you, already hurt you, why would you give them even more of your energy ruminating on it? Like if someone was to push you, like let's just say literally like a bully came and knocked you over. So they already kind of took something from you, already made you feel a certain way. Why would you give that person even more energy thinking about it all the rest of the day and then saying, ooh, I'm really going to get back at this person and I want to do this and I want to do that? You're just giving them even more and more of your power. So this one, like with this type of thinking, like esoteric thinking and deep hidden truths that most people may not really think about or integrate into their lives. Before I got here, what I was aware of was Illuminati. So like I feel like my first like initial awakening was okay, there's the system, there's the man, there's people out there that are against me that are trying to keep me down. There's the Illuminati that are behind things and satanic people. And it's like at that point it felt like I was above and I was realized and I understand it now. But even still, it's just another part of the system because I'm giving those people power. Like fear. Fear is a extreme way to control people, giving power. So in terms of the insurance industry, the reason why the insurance industry is such a billion-dollar industry and why they make so much every year is because they go off of fear. And fear is the best way to control people. Yeah. And just going off of that, like once you, again, your attention is your biggest power, is your greatest gift. You're still putting attention on the problem instead of putting attention on the solution. If I know where I'm at, it doesn't really help for me to know who's doing it. If I know what I want to go to and where I want to be and knowing that I can do it myself, then I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on the solution. It's almost like saying that I want to get out of debt rather than saying I want to be rich or I want to be wealthy or I just want to have enough money. So if you're trying to solve the problem saying I want to get out of debt, the only thing that's on your mind is debt, 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 debt. So consciously, I may be like, okay, I don't want to be in debt. I want to make more money. But subconsciously, since I'm focusing on it, all my subconscious hears and is focusing on is debt. All it's looking for is debt. I can do all the physical things in the world, but no matter what, I end up self-sabotaging. The universe seems to correspond and end up making things to not work for me. But again, I already made the program of debt, debt, debt. But if I'm looking for money, if that's where my attention is on the solution instead, and that's what I'm running, then it's easier for me to follow that. It flows more easily because again, the inside is the outside. So if what I'm focusing on is, the system and the man and they did all these things to me, that makes me a victim. And a victim can't change something because it's external, it's outside of them. So it's giving you power. I feel like no one wants to hear that they're being a victim. No one wants to be called a victim, but everyone kind of wants to be a victim because it releases that power and that responsibility. No one wants to say that things are happening in your life because of you. No one wants to hear that. But instead of taking it as something negative, that means that you have the power to change it. If I'm saying that something negative happening in your life is based off of something that's running internally, that means that you have the power to put in something else.
I always give my people the final word. And when I give you the final word, what I want people to know is how they can contact you, where they can reach you at. Where are you? What platforms are you on?
I had to take everything that I've learned so far that I'm studying and working towards, and I want to pass on to somebody. I would say that there's this book that's called The Autobiography of a Yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda. I recommend for everybody to read that book because what's in it, it talks about consciousness and the power of consciousness and how it relates to the physical plane. And it speaks of very specific, real, and notarized and documented events of people of things that seem wondrous. There was this woman who lived for 50 years, no food, no water. It's been documented and doctors studied her. There's a yogi that lifted off the ground, physically levitated off the ground. There was a saint who physically manifested in two different locations at the same time, which is called bilocation. And there was a multiple amount of witnesses. Yogananda himself, his guru, passed, and a few days later, he came back and physically manifested in his hotel room in a body that you could touch and see and feel, like physically came back. So when these wonders and things happen, we can either mystify them and say that it's a miracle, or we just don't believe it. But just think if that was actually real, if that was actually a possibility. I'm not expecting people to go out and start levitating and flying, but it shows you that the spectrum is there. So, in terms of your life and what you are able to do and what you can change and how much reality may not truly be what you think it is, the possibilities in that life that you want and what you want to experience and what life could really be is out there. We're afraid of change, but change might not be as scary as you think. Those would be my last words. Okay. So you can find me at Mr.PerspectiveX on Instagram, on YouTube, and
Anywhere else?
on TikTok. It would just be Mr. Perspective, and I'll show up.
This has been a great conversation with Mr. Perspective. I always say on this podcast, on the Reason Solutions, stay curious, stay critical, stay in the conversation. Peace.
Peace.